Hello, and today we're doing a match preview for the massive match at Vicarage Road tonight between Watford and Crystal Palace. I'm going to be doing my match preview and prediction in this one, and then do catch my Premier League predictions at 7 o'clock for match week 20, number 7, but also my match review of this game, my match day vlog, which will be coming out on Wednesday night or possibly Thursday morning. Should be a good one. I'll do all the things like on the way to the ground in terms of like just outside the stadium. Might get some fish and chips and some food or some meal deals or something. Get there, get in and get through the turnstile, and hopefully it's a match day vlog to remember, because the last Brighton game was awful. This is Crystal Palace. They are off the back of a 1-0 defeat to Chelsea with a goal from Hakim Ziyech. They didn't look great against Chelsea, but they kind of played defensive, had both of their main forwards, really. Jean-Philippe Mateta, Odsonne Edouard, but also Christian Benteke, all on the bench as they succumbed to a 1-0 defeat. But their last away result was a 0-0 draw to Brentford. Now, Villa obviously was the game for Watford last time out. That was also 1-0, but it was in Watford's favour with a massive victory from an Emmanuel Dennis goal. So, looking at Crystal Palace, they're currently 13th in the Premier League, winless in their previous 6 top-flight games. They started the campaign very well under Patrick Vieira, the former Arsenal legend, with that great victory over Manchester City. That was their last away win, but they're now looking to recapture such impressive form. Their last win in the Premier League was at home to Norwich City 3-0. Palace have used the transfer market to their advantage, bringing in Chelsea loanee Conor Gallagher, and he will be back tonight after he served his missed game against Chelsea due to the fact of his loan deal. Also, Michael Elise and Odsonne Edouard are 2 of their other recent acquisitions that look very, very good. Whether Edouard, Mateta, Benteke, Elise, whether all of them play is just up to Vieira. We really don't know. But key stats from this game: Watford have won 4 of their last 6 meetings with Crystal Palace in all competitions, drawn 1 and lost 1. The Hornets have already won a home match against the Eagles this season. That was, of course, in the second round of the Carabao Cup with the late goal from Ashley Fletcher. Will he get his chance ahead of Joshua King, who's not been in good form? I wonder. But Cucho Hernandez provided the cross for that fantastic ball and that fantastic late goal in a game really where we didn't really dominate. Palace didn't have much possession in most games, but they did in that one, and we were just clinical when we had the ball. So that's what we've got to do tonight, especially if we're defensive. But looking at how we played against Brighton, I want us to attack this one, especially as it's such an important one to maintain some much needed momentum and get back-to-back wins in the Premier League for the first time since the 2019-20 season, when we beat Norwich City 2-1 at the Vic, and then also beat Newcastle 2-1. It was a Danny Welbeck overhead bicycle kick, and also a double penalty Deeney magic, and we've got neither of those in the squad in this game. So we need some goals today for sure. We need to get at Palace and really test Jack Butland, with Vicente Guaita obviously going off injured at half-time against the London club Chelsea there. Watford manager, of course, Roy Hodgson, took charge of 148 Premier League games at Palace between 2017 and 2021. That's more than any other manager for the Eagles in the competition. And this will be his 30th Premier League game against the side he's previously managed in the competition. Won 12, drawn 5, lost 12, already more than any other manager. So he certainly has some previous with these kind of matches. And after winning their first Premier League away game against the Hornets 1-0 back in September 2015, courtesy of a penalty from Johan Cabaye, Crystal Palace have failed to win any of their last 4 visits to Vicarage Road in the competition. Hopefully, that's a good omen. Also, in terms of team news, Joao Pedro and Juraj Kucka, they'll have their fitness test on Tuesday, so that will be a late test. And that was yesterday, of course, so we wonder if any of those get in. Also, we are still assessing the fitness of Nkulu. I don't think he'll be available for the squad. Still close enough, though. And also, Joao Pedro, whether he starts tonight is another thing, because King's been working so hard. But ultimately, Peter Etebo, he did make an eagerly awaited return to match action in the under-23s game at Ipswich, while Kwadwo Bar, who obviously has had good moments this season, but unfortunately not in the first team, he's gaining a bit further minutes in the same game after he completed an hour against Birmingham last week. Also for Crystal Palace, what are we saying for this game? Well, they're not going to be an easy team to play against, but I think back on the form they've got, Palace, this is a game Watford really need to take. Palace are there for the taking. They're not looking great. They're on the downward spiral. And Watford, after that very important win against Aston Villa, will be feeling confident. Now, our defence is certainly not solid. We can not keep clean sheets, but back-to-back clean sheets, what that would do for confidence would be absolutely massive. I think the fact that we won the last game doesn't make anything easier. If anything, it could make it next slightly harder, because we've got to allow no complacency. That's exactly what Hodgson said. We've got to realise the importance of this occasion tonight and try and build on what we did against Aston Villa. Stay in the game and really defend resiliently, which is what Samir and Craig Cathcart did. Now, of course, tonight as well, Will Hughes returning to Vicarage Road for the first time since his transfer in the 2021 to 22 summer window. That one rolled on for ages, and I don't think it was he had something against Watford. It was just his agent really wanted to force it through. And look, we've got to give him a good reception, because what he did at this club was fantastic in the Championship season we got promoted, but also, you know, in the 3 years before that, he was fantastic in that Europa League side. Inverted commas, we pushed for top 7, never quite got there, but ultimately it's a special match. What am I predicting for this special game? I think a nice big victory boosting win and confidence boosting win, but I always feel like Watford make it harder than it needs to be. So I'll say Watford 1, Crystal Palace 0. The only goal of the game scored by number 23 on the 23rd of February. It's Ismaila Sarr, the Senegalese, gets his first goal since that Manchester United win. And he is going to actually make Palace feel very sorry for themselves, because they nearly went in for Ismaila Sarr. And it will be assisted by Joshua King. And Palace will hit the post through a little bit of James MacArthur. But this is my predicted lineups. Ben Foster in goal, then Hassan Kamara, Samir, Cathcart, Kiko Femenia. Now, the midfield could easily be Moussa Sissoko, Imran Louza and Tom Cleverley. And incidentally, Cleverley was the last time we scored a Premier League goal against Palace. That was back in the 12th of January 2019. Cleverley will not soon forget that one. Absolute wonder strike with the volley. And also, I say about Roy Hodgson, Ray Lewington was with Roy Hodgson at Palace. Watford's form in the last 5, loss, draw, loss, win. And Crystal Palace, draw, loss, draw, loss. So hopefully that shows we should be winning tonight. In terms of the rest of the team, though, I think instead of Cleverley, it might be Edu Kayembe. I just think he's probably a bit better, a bit more solid. But I don't really, you can't say Cleverley doesn't try, because he really does. That's why I love him, for his passion. The front three, though, same again. Emmanuel Dennis, Joshua King and Ismaila Sarr. But we could see Ashley Fletcher. We could see Cucho Fernandez or Joao Pedro. But I just don't think it's time to change it. Now, Palace team, Butland, probably Nathaniel Klein, because they've had a few injuries there, and Joel Ward has not been maybe perfect recently. So he would be an interesting one to go up against for Ismaila Sarr. Joachim Anderson, Mark Gurhey, Tyrick Mitchell, Conor Gallagher, Cheku Kuyate, and then this could also be Michael Elise, James MacArthur, Eberici Eze, Jean-Philippe Mateta is who I'm going to go for, and Wilfred Zaha. Now, Zaha always has a thing to say against Watford in these kind of matches, whether that's a goal or a dive in the game against us. And also, of course, it's the match where, Roy Hodgson was fuming after in his press-match conference or post-match conference with Watford's mascot, Harry the Hornet, for diving and suggesting that Zaha does dive, which he does. Let's not beat around the bush. But he was fuming, and let's see if there's some warmer, relations on the touchline this time around. And let's see if Zaha can do anything. I really hope not. But also the referee in this game is going to be Andre Mariner, and then the assistants and the fourth official and the VAR, you've got Scott Ledger, Derek Eaton, Simon Hooper, Mike Dean is on VAR, so that'll be interesting. And also we've got Mark Scholes as well. So yeah, very interesting indeed. We will see what happens. It's Hodgson versus Vieira at Vicarage Road. And it is a 7:30 kickoff, so should be an interesting one. But we really need to improve our home record for sure. That goal from Ismaila Sarr that I predicted in the 1-0 win, I think will come on 63 minutes. and that will be a massive, massive victory. I mean, we've only beaten Manchester United and Villa at home this season, so it's got to improve. It's 18th against 13th on BBC Radio 5 Live, on He's Goal, and it's going to be Adam Leventhal up against Mark Wyatt. It's going to be Jacob Colshaw up against Jim Daly. It's interesting stuff for sure. Come on, you Warns, hopefully a victory. Emmanuel Dennis, though, needs one more goal to become only the 4th Watford player to score 10 plus goals in a Premier League season after Dini, Igalo. He is basically the next Igalo. He's been that good, and his celebrations as well, pointing to the sky, representing Nigeria. He has been fantastic, as Emmanuel Dennis, and Gerard Deulofeu is that 4th player. So he will be in esteemed company for sure. And none of the 7 victories in Premier League contests between these two sides have been by more than a 1-goal margin, and it's the most wins a Premier League fixture has seen without any of them being by more than 1 goal. So maybe this is the night for Watford to get a massive victory, a 3-0 or a 4-0. Yes, please. Come on, you Horns, let's do this. It's time to get the victory. I'll see you for my full-time review next time.